So, good morning and welcome to Jack from Home Pierpont. So, today Jack is joining us on the back of reopening Home Pierpont Water Sports Centre. So, Jack, how are you today?
Yeah, good, thanks, Dave. Obviously, strange times, but yeah, doing very well, thank you.
And having done a watt bike class with you, I know you're a much better cyclist than I am. So, you still been out on the bike over lockdown? Have you been getting your chief medical officer exercise?
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly, kind of fell back in love with the bike. I think through the winter, the very wet winter we had from what it felt like September onwards, in all fairness, and didn't choose to use the velodrome at Derby this winter at all, and actually took up CrossFit, which was a different way of training. But yeah, fell back in love with the bike since the box closed, and yeah, getting some good miles in.
Fantastic. That's really good news. And yeah, it's been quite pleasant actually, the weather and the fact I think there's been less cars on the road has been interesting. I think they're travelling faster, but there is less cars on the road, so you feel a little bit safer on your bike, don't you, at the minute?
Definitely, absolutely. But I guess the only thing is I go out on my own now, which at one time was you always went out in a big group, so that makes things slightly different. But no, it's been
absolutely good. Yeah, drafting is a lot more fun, isn't it, than the headway yourself. Yeah. So, Jack, Home Pierpont, tell us about it and tell us what happened this weekend.
Yeah, so just people that don't know, I'm contract manager of Home Pierpont Circo Leisure. I've been there for two and a half years now. Home Pierpont Country Park is the home of the National Water Sports Centre, and it's one of the national centres across the UK. It's also home of British Canoeing, which is something we're very proud to house a governing body with us, and brilliant to have them. And also we have some incredible things that happen on the site. British Rowing have their start programme based with us. Outlaw Triathlon, which is one of the biggest triathlons in the UK, is based with us. So yeah, brilliant. 300-acre site. And yeah, this weekend, really exciting. We managed to reopen our 2,000-metre regatta lake for rowing. And we also managed to open our Whitewater course for paddlers as well. So, great step in the right direction. And yeah, a lot of hard work and planning, but we managed to get it open.
Okay, so what sort of things did you have to do in order to reopen the spaces that you've got to customers?
I think the first thing is, and to be honest, people who know me in the sector and certainly know me in Circo will know that I'm not always the best planner. And I think Dave, you'll probably know that as well. However, absolute planning, and I've learned so many new skills in planning to detail and making sure you take the right stakeholders on that journey of planning with you. Whether that's the company, whether that's the client, Nottinghamshire County Council has been fantastic. Whether that's Sport England and their guidance, or whether that's the governing bodies that govern their sport. So what we've been working towards is making sure that all of that information comes into one central hub. And then it gets pushed back out in a very easy, friendly way for customers to understand the social distancing measures we've put in place, making sure our staff are reinducted to understand that they're still safe to come back to work. So when people have been furloughed for a long time, coming back into the workplace, so ensuring that they feel safe to come back in, and creating that plan to deliver a result where customers can come down, feel safe, exercise in whatever sport they do, and then leave safely as well.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting because I spoke to Sam, who is head of recreation on Guernsey, and Beau Sejour opened Tuesday of last week. And it's really interesting, similarities around the comments about team is making sure the team are ready to come back. So I'm really pleased that that's part and parcel of your thinking around this. But have there been any fundamental changes? Because, Whitewater, it's a very free-spirited environment, isn't it? It's a type of thing, whenever I've been there and stayed at your place, they're there first thing in the morning, they're there all night. So what have you had to put in place that's different?
Yeah, so some huge, we'll use Whitewater as the example, and the rowing lake is pretty much similar to what we've done. So like you say, people used to come down and pay for a day pass and spend all day with us, which is where we want to get back to at some point. But what we've done is we've put in pre-bookable slots, so they're 90-minute slots. You have to arrive only 15 minutes before your slot. There's a 2-meter queuing system. The reception is now outside, and the changing facilities, the indoor changing facilities are closed. We do have outdoor showers that people can use if they want to rinse down before they get in the car. And once their slot's done, and I mean, many people who listen to this will understand swimming pools. It's a bit like the old Lido when they call you out at your time slot and you've got the wrong hand on. Everyone has to come out at the time, and then the next group go on. But what that's done is a culture where all members can get back on the course, and that's what we want to get to. If we'd had bookable slots, but it's bookable all day, we obviously, our risk assessment has given us a capacity. It could have been, really inhibiting for a lot of the members. So I think it's been a good way of solving the problem.
Brilliant. And how well has it been received? Because it's probably one of the first sort of participation sports that have gone back in. My daughter has had some one-to-one tennis lessons, and she actually did some small group hockey training at the weekend. So I guess it's similar to that, but has it been well received by the paddlers? Are they chuffed to be back?
Oh, absolutely. We are fully booked now for 3-4 weeks down the line. To be honest, probably been more successful than what we expected in terms of them bookable slots. Our new online booking system is working really well, and actually I think that could be a game changer in how we book Whitewater going forwards. And I think that's something we have to understand and learn a bit more about as we progress. I think also paddling is really interesting, because actually paddling went significantly a while ago in terms of getting on the water, but it was more about going out on your own, or going out with one other person, and going out on public waterways. Right. So then bringing what they learned as a community, what British Canoeing learned as a governing body, what the advice was to them, and bringing it into a leisure setting environment, and that's how we've kind of built our plans to successfully open the Whitewater course at Nottingham, which is fantastic. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And it's interesting to hear you talk about the online booking and things like that. What sort of lessons can you apply from your learning to, you've had experience of leisure centres and gyms and that type of stuff. You've got quite a broad basis to your career. So how can you apply some of the learning from this to the rest of the sector?
I think educating a community, or encouraging a community to take up a new way of booking, which wasn't done before. And I think the fitness sector will be interesting how they react to this, because I'm a gym user, and would call in on the way home from work. That some days might be 5 o'clock, some days that might be 8:30, depending on how the day's been. Having to actually pre-plan my routine. But what I would say is that a great booking system is critical, and then also just make sure that the team are educated in how to use it, because even though they might have been a member for 3 years, they might have never used your booking systems, and I think that we take that for granted sometimes. So I think that's really key as well.
Okay, so how did you do that? Did you do a little animation, a video, or was it just instruction on PDF?
No. So we did. We had a video that went out on our social media. Right. We sent a member communications out. We updated our links, our website. So our COVID statement that popped on our website had the link through to the booking platform. And like I say, like anything, there'll always be people that need it a bit further explaining. But 98% of the community just really got it, and the booking system is going really, really well. And what it does is it means now we can measure exactly how busy we're going to be going forwards, which like I say, going forward, that could be a real game changer from a sector that actually used to just rely on, well, if it was nice weather, it'd be busy, and if it wasn't, it might not be so busy. So we'll certainly utilise some of that going forward, long-term recovery plan.
Okay, and I guess that piece around actually being able to plan your resources in a much better way, certainly for an environment like Home Pierpont, it's going to be vital going forward, because you really can't afford to have people just sat around effectively waiting for customers to turn up. So your resource planning will be so much stronger as a result of this, by the sounds of it.
Exactly, and also what it all do is understand what is actually your peak times. We have a very good the leisure sector sometimes, we think our peak times are this and this, and actually what we can now do is make a real judgment on proper data on when our peak times actually are. Interesting, obviously our information is varied at the moment, because there's some people not in the workplace, and so they have more capacity to come in the daytime. But once we start to mirror them pictures, we can create programs and say session times that suit the community going forwards.
Yeah. Okay. So going forwards, then, looking to the future, what do you think it's going to look like for Home Pierpont in 12 months' time? Is it going to be back to what it was before, a really popular, very well organised, great place to be, actually, even if it was just for a walk, let alone taking part in the activities that you've got there? What's it going to look like in 12 months' time, do you think?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It's a good question actually, and one that had a lot of thought around. And we have some very detailed plans with all our stakeholders. And one, this plan doesn't just finish in July, it doesn't just finish in August. It's a plan that goes on and on. And one thing I would say is I think we might actually be more popular. And the reason I say that is when we actually closed down right at the start, our country park never really closed down. We had times right at the start where you could only go out for 1 hour a day. We shut our car parks, but the local community could still very much come and use it and enjoy it and do their 1 hour of exercise outside a day. And then since then, we opened our car parks up when you could start to drive for longer durations and spend a day somewhere and outdoor exercising. And actually, the success of the country park and people just come in to do a jog, do a bike ride around the 300 acres, staggering and busier than we've ever had. So we think in 12 months we might have put the country park side of the facility on the map a bit more, and we hope that that'll be a real success as more people turn to country parks to do their exercise and going to a gym, for example. I think going forward, it's an interesting business for people that don't know it. We have a holiday park on site, as you know, and so we're working with the holiday park sector of how that will look going forwards, and talking to some of the players in that sector of how that will look. We have a hotel on site. Again, the hotelier industry is very different, and then the catering operation. But I think going forwards, what we will do is we'll have a significant more planning and structuring rather than just we're open all the time for everything. And I think that's just a more sensible way to approach. We'll certainly utilise our online booking significantly more, and if we think that's a positive thing to do, and we'll certainly embrace the sectors that kind of sit within us, like the holiday park sector, the hotel sector, etc. And going forwards, because we've embraced them through this process more than what we would have before. And to be fair, the advice and the feedback has been phenomenal. And we've made some brilliant contacts in them sectors to help us, make even more an established business moving forwards.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. I have camped there. It's just brilliant for a family. Take your bikes, go for a ride, do the Whitewater, go on the high ropes, the Sky Trail. Just a really nice environment to be. But I think what I'm really interested in is that piece you talked about around the outdoor exercise, cycling, running, walking in the open park, because I have a view that actually a lot of the sector is going to have to think differently about how it constructs its offer and how it engages with people and how we can give advice. I know I'm an amateur bike rider compared to you. The opportunity to have something from you to help me ride my bike better is something I think the sector is going to have to really embrace so that we maintain engagement with these people.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point. I certainly wouldn't think I'm any more than amateur either. But no, in terms of the actual park itself, what an opportunity we have, within our site. You can come out of the city within 3 miles. You're in a 300-acre country park, and you're doing a fitness class overlooking a 2,000-metre regatta lake. We always have toyed with the ideas of doing more exercise outside, whether that be buggy classes outside, whether that be Pilates overlooking the lake, and on a summer's morning or whatever that is. But I think that's going to be, I know that's going to be programmed into our plan. Going to be more of our thoughts going forwards. That we run OCR events on the site, so we have a significant amount of OCR features that we can create outdoor exercise spaces easily. And yeah, I think that I would embrace anyone to think about that. There's a lot of good leisure facilities out there that have got good outdoor space anyway, and just maybe use it for car parking rather than for space. And that's good. And Dave, that I look after More Fitness Harbour as well, one of our other sites. And when we built that, we built a huge outdoor exercise space next to it. And how popular is that going to be when we can get that club back open? Will be fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think on that point of getting people to think about more than just the box in which we operate, I think we'll call the conversation to a date, because as always with you and I, Jack, time has absolutely flown. So our time is up. Thank you so much for your time. It's really good to see you. Say hi to the team for me, and also congratulate them, because the feedback's been very good so far from the guys and girls that have been on the water. So well done. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Dave.